trying to get pregnant, you should just relax. How did that make you feel? Okay. So today I want to talk about stress, fertility, what it means, and why they're right, unfortunately. However, the messaging is not great. Okay, so stress alone is not usually the only reason that someone may be struggling to get pregnant. But chronic stress can absolutely impact the way that your body is functioning and how those systems work to support fertility. Okay, so what we're going to do is talk about stress, how it impacts your body, and what you can actually do about it besides just saying, just stop stressing out. Just relax. It'll happen. That's horrible advice, okay? Instead, I like to reframe that as like, you seem really stressed out. Is there anything that I can do to help you? What would feel really fun that I could plan? Could I, plan to take you for a manicure? Could I, if you already have kids, can I watch your kids? Can I pet sit for you so that you and your husband can go away for a night, etc.? So one of the hardest things to hear when you are trying to get pregnant is just relax, because the stress is real, and that relationship on how the stress is impacting your body is also very, very real. So it's not just mental too. It's not just that like, oh, I'm stressed out and like, I don't have the capacity to do other things, or just that you're like wearing your body out. When you are stressed, you are going to have a true physiological cellular level response. And so we will see spikes in cortisol. We will see fatigue, because your body is just kind of running on empty, and your body is kind of staying in a state of stress. So when we stay stressed, our body is in this fight or flight mode, right? And so when we are constantly in a fight or flight mode, it impacts hormones. It impacts how our body is signaling that we are safe. So if you are in a chronic stress position, mindset, then your body is going to say, ooh, we are not in a good position to home a baby, right? Like if you're setting a home that is crazy all of the time and not resting and just running on fumes and mentally just like going in these circles, then your body's going to respond. And we are going to see impacts of your sleep. You're not going to sleep as well, and your cycles of sleep will be negatively impacted, for lack of a better term, or for lack of a more complicated medical term, I suppose. So we're not getting the proper sleep cycles, and your sleep cycles are when your body is taking out the trash. Your sleep cycles are when your body gets rid of the toxins and flushes out the bad stuff, and it repairs the things that need to be fixed. And so if we're not sleeping well, then then we are not going to have proper regulation of hormones and digestion, and all that stuff isn't going to work as well. So what that leads to is more inflammation in the body. And I've talked about inflammation and what that actually means, and how it's not just like I sprained my ankle and I have a swollen ankle. Inflammation in the body is like fire in the body, and your body's going like, oh my God, I've got to put all of this stuff out. And so it's a kind of a cascading effect. We've got stress, changes in cortisol levels, impacting your nervous system, impacting your sleep, and causing inflammation. And then it just kind of ends up being this kind of firestorm of anti-fertility for the body, okay? And that's not good. So the stress starts having a physical manifestation on your labs, on your hormones, on your peace, on your sleep, and all of this is now a physical response from a emotional stress, okay? So the way that we can see that this is going to appear with either labs or kind of what is going on in your life is ovulation can be disrupted. It may not happen like normal. It may not happen at all. You can have cycles of anovulation due to so much stress, meaning you didn't ovulate that month, which is what anovulation means, is that you didn't actually release an egg because it's not safe here. Or your body may just say like, we're going to wait a little bit and see if we are going to kind of continue this. And part of that is that stress and that hormone signaling, is your body's going like, oh man, something's not right here. Like everything else isn't going to kind of domino down like it's usually supposed to, right? So if we are talking about like hormones having a domino effect, and this one's supposed to hit this one so that this happens and this happens and this happens, well, if we are having a pause right there, or this number is too high so that the rest of the stuff can't happen, we may postpone or not have any ovulation, okay? The other things that we're going to see is elevated CRP, which is your C-reactive protein, which is a biomarker, a lab test that you can draw to understand how much inflammation is in the body. The frustrating part about CRP is that it's not specific. It won't say like, oh, you have inflammation in your ovaries, or you have inflammation in your shoulder. It just says like how much inflammation is in the body. And I like to look at a CRP high sensitivity, which is a specific type of CRP. Because we can watch it trend down if it starts off elevated. So if I've got somebody with like rip-roaring endo and they're having a lot of symptoms, and we start working on ways to control those symptoms, we'll usually see a reduction in that CRP high sensitivity too, okay? But that overall stress on your body is going to impact the way that your body's responding and the hormones and the things that your body is kind of dumping out. So all that's going to be impacted. Again, sleep. You're going to have a harder time going to sleep or staying asleep. And again, that's messing up those sleep cycles. And it's also going to start leading to insulin resistance. When your body is in a chronic state of stress, it is crazy to see how your body responds. So I've told you guys about my CGM that I love, and how one time I woke up to like a sound and I was like, oh my God, what was that? And my immediate instinct as psycho mom, just a, person who tends to be like easily startled and jump out of things, is insulin resistance. And so when your body's in this state of stress, you will see that your body does not absorb glucose in the same way. So for instance, when I had that stress response, my CGM said the next morning, like, did something happen at 1 a.m.? And I was like, oh yeah, I did. Like almost, I woke up and I sat there panicked going like, am I going to have to jump up and save my entire family, or am I going to go back to sleep? And what happened was my body threw out a bunch of glucose, and it was like, bitch, you're about to have to go save your whole family. Like, here's something you can run fast enough to carry all these children and your husband and your dog out of your house and survive. So that's what happens in that stress response, is your body is going like, I don't know if it's a lion. I don't know if it is a fire. I don't know if somebody just drove through my house. Like, these are the thoughts that you can have. And that is how the stress response works. And so some of that happening just every now and then, not going to be a big deal. Your body's going to be like, oh, never mind, false alarm, reabsorb that, go back to sleep, you'll be okay. But when you kind of like stay in that state of chronic stress and tension, and your body stays in that fight or flight mode, you will see a direct impact on how your blood glucoses are doing. And we want them to stay steady. We don't want them going like, oh God, she's freaking out again. Like, let's release some glucose, and then up and down, and up and down, up and down. It's just not good for fertility or your overall health and longevity. And then stress is also going to make a lot of like underlying conditions worse, right? So we have someone that has PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome, and we know that those people are already prone to insulin resistance and blood glucose abnormalities, which can lead to inflammation and other issues. It just makes this stuff worse. So it makes it harder to control, right? Same thing with endometriosis. If we have endometriosis, which is causing inflammation in the body, specifically in those reproductive organs at times, and now we've got the stress response, all that's going to get worse. And I don't say that to scare you and be like, oh, great, now I'm even more stressed out, Katie. Like, thanks a lot. Like, that's not what my goal here, right? I just want you to understand like how important it is. And we'll get to that kind of in the second half of like making a plan. And that's also where I help people. It's like, okay, where is the stress coming from? And then the last thing I see often is stress is overtraining, or overexerting your body. So like a lot of times athletes or people who really love like HIIT classes, people who really love the high intensity stuff are more prone to some of this, because your body is kind of staying in a state of stress and repair, which can be really good, especially if that is a stress relief for you. But we just need to be really mindful about it and kind of set some parameters about it. So typically, a lot of my patients and clients are like myself. Okay. We are high achieving. We are used to like making a goal, setting it, and knocking it out and moving on to the next one. And when your goal is to get pregnant and you can't take control of that so much, that is very hard for some of us. Okay. Especially those of us who have been in the healthcare industry and nurses and nurse practitioners are like, I should be able to figure this out. Okay. That's how I felt. And I think that the education that we are given as nurses and nurse practitioners, healthcare providers, is we're taught like, okay, here's what happens. You ovulate, you have this chance to get pregnant. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. There's not education on like, and this also could be impacting things. There's not education on like, we know that if women are like going through a drought or something in the Saharan desert and their bodies are like so stressed because they're not getting an adequate source of food or water, your body's like, hey, probably shouldn't get pregnant. Okay, we know that. Cool. But they're not talking about like the stress of the American diet and the American lifestyle and the way that we have been programmed to go, 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 have a baby, go, 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 go. Like that is not really conducive to fertility either, which is so interesting. And I know fertility rates are declining all over the world. It's not just Americans. And we have a lot to blame here in America with our diet and our culture and our movement and our healthcare system. We're not known for that for a good thing. Okay. And so those of us who do tend to be highly productive, over analyzing, over like, I can solve this problem on Google. I can get on Open Evidence. I can get on ChatGPT. I can get on all of this and I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to put all the pieces together and then I'm going to get pregnant and then move on. And that doesn't work. You've done it. It didn't work. That's why you're still Googling. That's still why you're still on ChatGPT. But you probably don't know the right prompts to get what you need because you're just in your own mindset of like what you think you need. And so, we can't always, sometimes we just have to like turn it down a little bit. And that is very difficult for people like myself and people probably like you, because we are just trying to consume everything. And so that we can make these changes. And sometimes we have to kind of figure out, okay, what can I actually do to manage this stress? Because Googling it all isn't helping and it's not getting me pregnant. So, what can actually help? I think getting away from this guy. I think get off of the screens, get away of all the information. And this is really hard for me and something that I'm working on right now, just in my own personal life and stress management. So walking, moving your body is all great. Strength training is great for stress management. Making sure that you are setting a good routine around sleep, whether that is no screens or whether that is changing light fixtures or just setting up an actual routine and not just like, I'll get there when I get there. Okay. Prioritizing sleep is really important. Setting boundaries personally, professionally, privately, like setting your boundaries around how much time am I going to allow to do this? How much can how can I start saying no to some things? Because as high achieving people tend to be really active in our communities or really active with our friends or really active at our work and say, yes, I can help with this, or yes, task me with this project, or yes, I can also do this. And then all of a sudden your calendar is so full that you don't have time to just be like, let me do the things that I need to do to help my inflammation, to help my stress management, to help plan for my week ahead. And so we need to kind of turn down the stress on your nervous system. And one way to do that is by setting those boundaries. Again, with that's friends, with family, with work, etc. And all the volunteer things that you do, which are so great. But again, we can't say yes to everything. Okay. And then making sure that you've got a built-in support system to kind of ask for help. Because a lot of times we don't like to ask for help. Does that sound familiar? It's not easy. We don't like it. We want to be able to do everything by ourselves. And we think that asking for help is a sign of weakness when it's really a sign of strength. It's really saying like, hey, I need help with this. And that makes you stronger. That makes you a better friend. That makes you a better mom. That makes you a better employee. When you can say like, I can't do this because I've got to put on my ear mask first. Okay. I can't get pregnant. I can't help others if I can't help myself. Okay. So yeah, what does that look like for you? So I think that, again, asking for help, whether that is, I need a date night, or hey babe, we've been really stressed, this has been really taking a toll on us, let's take a trip, or let's make a plan for dinner, or let's go for a walk after dinner, or let's start making that our new habit, that we go for a walk every meal or after every dinner for 15 minutes. For us to kind of reconnect and talk and decompress, or break down your day, or laugh about stuff and not have your phone with you. For me recently, my stress management has been going to the YMCA. I've talked about that. And that didn't happen overnight. This has been a 7-month process of going from the gym one time a week to 4 to 5 times a week. Again, it didn't happen overnight. So small changes that you can make. Less high intensity stuff, less stressful projects. What can you do to kind of start taking away some of that stuff? And then it starts getting easier once you can say no. My best friend says, like, I did something like you today. I was like, oh God, what are you going to say? And she's like, I said no. I told somebody no. And I was like, I'm so proud of you. She's got 3 children and she does not say no a lot. So it is hard to prioritize that. But the more that you add to their plate, the more you kind of have to be like, look, what's really important to me? What am I really going to learn to say no to? And then consistency, not just doing it once, but being like, oh, this is really helpful. Let me do this again. Let me kind of make this my new routine. Let me make this my new habit. So I know that it's frustrating when people say, like, stop stressing out so much, you're going to get pregnant. No, that's not true. Okay, like, give me something constructive. So I just don't want you to think like, great, now I'm stressed and now I'm thinking more about being stressed. This is not about like being perfectly calm and zen and like having some, perfect yogi lifestyle. It is about helping your body feel some more supported, and helping your body feel safe, and helping your body, signaling to your body like, hey, things are going okay. We're safe in here. We're okay. Let's get back to ovulation. Let's get back to our normal routine. So you don't need to be a different person. You don't need a new personality. We just want little shifts that are going to make a big impact. So if you feel like you've been stuck in survivor mode while trying to get pregnant, I see you. I have been you. I get it. And it is very, very, very difficult to get out of that persona, because it becomes a whole tornado of a persona. And that's what I help women work through, is like, where are we finding these stresses, and what can we do, little teeny tiny changes to kind of put you in that better mindset, physical well-being, hormone balance and regulation, to kind of get to the other side. Man, this is going way longer than I thought it was going to. My bad, y'all. I thought this was going to be a short one. So there you go. I'll call it that. I'm Katie. I'm a nurse practitioner. I'm a fertility consultant. If you're interested in working together, check out my website. Send me a message if you're like, I don't know if this is for me or not. Check out my course. That's a ton of information. There you go. Y'all have a good one. We'll see you in the next one.